They say it takes a village to raise a child, because children need a lot of different people to look out for them. Families can use all the help they can get. After all, no parent is perfect. That's why McCoy leads the Early Intervention and Prevention Initiative. We want to showcase all of the excellent programs in our city that help families learn and grow together. Because when we learn and grow together, we make our village a better place to live. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoy this episode of Our Kids, Our Families, Our Communities.
Hello, welcome to Our Kids, Our Families, Our Communities. My name is LaTasha Hudson. I'm the Early Intervention Prevention Director for McCoy, the Marion County Commission on Youth. Today, I'll be talking to Gabrielle Grady from YAP, Youth Advocacy Program, and we're going to talk about youth offenders as well as juveniles that have been placed on probation. Gabe, tell us a little bit about the YAP program.
Okay. So we were started in 2016 here in January 2016. We were funded with the Eli Lilly Center. So we work with youth who are considered the level 3 high offenders with the juvenile probation.
Okay.
So gun charges, burglary charges, gun charges. And so we work with them to set them up in the community to build sustainable skills. Help them in school, help them, if they need help with any educational skills, help them with any workman skills, trade skills and whatnot. They can actually also go to, say if a kid is interested in becoming a barber, they can go to a barber shop and get paid $7.25 an hour, 85 cents if they come to work on time, 85 more cents if they come dressed and ready, and 85 more cents if they come with a good attitude.
So those are some incentives.
Right. So those are some incentives for them to work and whatnot, and also just to build those good coping skills and whatnot. Because a lot of times we're noticing with our youth, the reason why they're involved with juvenile probation is because they responded to a situation wrong, or they may have smoked marijuana and whatnot. So just helping to build appropriate coping skills, helping them to utilize resources that's already in the community to help them work with them and help them become better for tomorrow.
So tell me a little bit, you work with them after they've been placed on juvenile probation. Tell me, what does that meeting look like, and how does it begin? So a child has faced some charges, and then they're placed on juvenile probation. Who gives you a call, and then how do you connect with those families?
So a lady by the name of Brandy Valdez from probation, she sent me an email saying, "Hey Gabe, I have a referral for you.
Okay.
Maybe a kid on the east side, west side, north side, south side." We work with all of Marion County right now.
Awesome.
And so I have 24 hours to call the family and meet with the referral source, which is the probation officer.
Okay.
In that 24 hours, I'm trying to build up a plan, trying to locate, what school resources he has going for himself, locate any gyms he's going to, any pro-social skills or anything that's in the community that he already has going for himself. I'm trying to build an advocate, trying to locate an advocate just for him to, basically the advocate serves in the mentor role. Okay. As well as just getting up all natural supports for him. Just making sure that he has a wealth of natural supports, because we all know that the old saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child. So I'm trying to build up a whole village to make sure that this kid is successful to 6 to 9 months, because we only have the kids 6 to 9 months in our program. Okay. After those 9 months, the courts review and see how well this kid has progressed. So we all know that 6 to 9 months is not a long time. It's not a long
time at all.
So in those 6 to 9 months, we're really working hard to try to build this kid up so that way he's more acclimated to the community. He can, become successful. He can, he has a wealth of supports. He feels like he's supported within the community.
Awesome. So you only work with males in your program, ages
14 to 17. We can't accept females.
Okay.
We've had 4 females in our program.
Okay.
But
awesome.
right now, it's
male and females that are referred to your program, ages 14 to 17.
Yes.
So 6 to 9 months is not a long time, as you've shared, and we also know, it takes 21 times before something becomes a habit anyway.
Absolutely.
So you got to repeat and do that over and over again. Tell me, what are some milestone markers in which you monitor success for a particular client? So how long does it take before they get connected to a community resource or a job, or do you monitor that, and how do you encourage them and support them along the way to make some progress very quickly?
So I always say this, saying that our families don't fail, plans do. So I always make sure that the plan that we've created, the family is involved in it. The family has created this plan. It's not Gabe, it's not Yap who created this plan, it's the family who created it. And we just
some accountability there.
Absolutely. And we just help them to execute the plan. So how we judge the mile markers is whenever you feel, or whenever we see that you have crossed off your goal from the sheet, we say, well, good job. And, we encourage them to keep going, whether it be supportive work, whether that be in school. Some of our kids not only takes the regular diploma route, but also takes the high school equivalency route as well. So, and it's very different, because success is very subjective, right?
Yes, it
so
is.
Sometimes, a kid maybe, is sitting at all lefts, but, as well as not going to school. So we have to celebrate that kid. Maybe he's going to school for the whole week, so that's a success to him. So we try to praise our kids when others don't feel as though they made a success. We see that they have made a success. So we judge it based upon the kids' needs and the family's needs, and just to see how well they have made the success for themselves.
Wow. And it sounds like your program is geared towards meeting people where they are.
Absolutely.
So with each child, there's a different plan. With each child, there's probably a different supportive network, and working with individuals, because I know, we've talked about different stories and the families you worked with. Tell us a little bit about what those natural supports might look like for one particular client.
Absolutely. So I can say in particular, I remember one client, he had already had a mentor already in place. He's already had a mentor in place, he had a pastor in place, and I will say this too, needs aren't services. So a lot of times our kids, they get their needs addressed through not just therapy. They get it addressed through maybe going to church. So that may be the natural support. That may be an outlet for them. They get it addressed from a football coach. They'll be able to. So those are the natural resources that we like to utilize within the community. We like to see what community leaders as well, from mom and pop shops, from the supportive work jobs, So see if they can serve as a natural support to check in on the kids, to make sure that he's doing well within the community, maybe check in on him at school, make sure he's, calling the parents up, make sure that he's doing well in the home. So those are the natural supports that we like to utilize. Like I say, the community.
Yeah, in the community, like you said, it takes a village.
Absolutely.
So does that define your wraparound advocacy model that you use by using those natural supports? And then how often do you check in with probation to let them know how well that client is doing?
So we send our notes to probation weekly.
Awesome.
We have to send weekly notes to the probation officer. And then as well as, so we're always, contacting the probation officer through email, whether that's phone, whether that's through email, just checking in. And we also do weekly meetings, just a weekly checkup, just to see how the youth is doing in our program. Make sure that he's accomplishing all his goals. Even with the court, so they have, they can set it in increments, 30, 60, 90 days. So the courts so for 30 days, they want to see 30, 60, 90, they want to see how well the youth is progressing in services while receiving services from the Act.
Awesome. And I know there probably are some challenges, because a lot of our youth, they lack communication skills, they lack conflict resolution. Some have faced trauma that we're unaware of, or and have not been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, but some of them have faced some mental issues in their life, and they haven't received the support or resources that they need. So tell me, how do you work with those youth and those barriers that are unforeseen or unseen that you are not aware of?
So I will say this, we'll start this off, a lot of times, and what kind of, I don't want to say kind of makes me cringe a little bit, is when people say, oh, this generation's so bad.
Right.
So we have to look at, well, why this generation is so bad?
Yeah. What have we done to contribute to it?
What have we done to contribute? Because they didn't come out their mother's womb wanting to do this stuff.
You're right.
Absolutely. So we have to look at what was our, what did we contribute for them to be bad, for them to be bad.
Quote unquote, right.
Right. So what I like to do is study about the youth, and first, read about the youth. We have a list of documents that we receive from probation officers. That it's a psychological report. It's the PDR, which goes over all the youth charges and when this youth has been involved with the juvenile probation system.
Okay.
And so from that, I've tried to build a plan. I try to see how we can be a best for the youth. In that, it doesn't show all of the youth, but it gives a good handle about what the youth has been exposed to and how we can best work with the youth. So with that, I try to build a plan around the youth, and then as well as some of the things that it's all about trust with our youth as well.
Yes, it is.
So some of the things come out. It doesn't come out early. It comes out later while we're working with them. So we just try to stay consistent. We try to stay, always have our wheels to the ground. I always tell our advocates, don't have a judgmental mentality when the youth tells you something personal. Don't say, "Ooh, wow, ooh, what is that?"
Absolutely, yeah.
You say with a calm face, no effect, and when you need to show emotion, you show it with me. You don't show it with the youth. You stay calm. You have to process that with the youth, and I'm happy to say, with that, I was pulled aside by one of the probation officers, and they was telling me that YAP is one of the organizations that the youth really feel comfortable with, and they're really happy with their YAP advocates because we don't have no judgmental.
Absolutely.
We have no judgment. Anything they tell us, we try to work through it. We try to help them through it. We try to meet them where they at. If they need therapy, if they need to go to church, if they need to get baptized, whatever they want to do, we try to help them do it and accomplish that.
That's awesome because the judgment-free zone is essential to their success.
Absolutely.
And creating that trust, the environment, and especially with teenage youth, 14 to 17, they have already have set ideas and notions about not only themselves but about other people's, and stereotypes can sometimes contribute to those things. So I know you don't do this work alone. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your advocates that work with you and how they work with the youth.
Okay. So our advocates come from all sectors of Indianapolis: North Side, East Side, West Side, and South Side. These advocates have full-time jobs. All of them most of them are coaches. Some of them are grassroots leaders. Some of them are leaders in their own community. Some of them are directors of other organizations and whatnot. So what these advocates serve as, they provide 10 hours per week for the kids per week. And what they do is, so during that week, they either work on educational skills, pure social skills, how to build healthy relationships, right?
Wonderful.
Because some of the things that our youth is getting involved with, they don't know how to build healthy relationships. So it's building those healthy relationships, showing them the ways to build those healthy relationships, and then also being relatable to the young people. Okay. Sometimes I think with the YAP advocates, all of them understand the teenager, and all of them around their age. Our oldest one, I think, is 44, but even he's a coach, so he's always around kids. He knows the lingo, he knows the jargon that they're using, he knows the language.
You got to stay up on that jargon.
Right. You got to stay up on it. So he knows, all of our, advocates, they know what our kids are dealing with because they came from Indianapolis. They grew up in Indianapolis. Okay. They know the back paths of Indianapolis. So it's really, good to see people that kind of look like you and came from where you come from, but also is a success, and also can tell you what steps they made to be a success as well.
Absolutely. And I know you get all of your referrals from probation. Is there a way to access your services if I was a parent or guardian and my child has been placed on probation, but he wasn't assigned to the YAP program?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You can request it from the probation officer.
Awesome.
Request it from the probation officer. Speak to the probation officer. Then they will go before a review board, and a review board will make the referral.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, before we end today's show, Gabe, I want you to spend some time. Tell us about one of the success stories that you've had through the YAP program. One that makes that smile right there brighten up.
Okay. Well, for confidentiality purposes, of course, I couldn't.
Don't say the name.
Yeah, I can't say the name, of course. But I referred to this kid as T. You know, T came into the program. He was always cursing me out. You know, I came over when I first did the intake. I knocked on the door and I tried to meet T, and T told me to get the F out. So it was just cursing me out every single day. Every time I come over to the house, he did not want to work with us. Finally, I took T to, I was doing an intake with T, and I finally just stopped the meeting, and I asked Dad was it okay if me and T could go in a community to McDonald's or something like that.
Okay.
So every kid likes, out to eat or whatnot.
Right.
So I stopped the meeting, and then we went over to McDonald's, and I let him order whatever he wanted off the menu. It didn't, I don't think that moment had anything to do with the food per se, but it just showed that I really cared about T.
Right.
And I really wanted to build that bond with T and really help out with T. T had, while he was on probation, T was smoking doing amphetamines, and as well as smoking marijuana, and had a drug problem as well. So during the course of the probation, we were able to help out T and help get T a job, and T eventually tested clean for all drugs.
Wow.
He successfully passed probation and also continued on with his job as a construction worker as well. So
that's awesome.
That's a big step for us. I definitely don't like to take the no credit, because I always tell the kids, this is on you. We just help you. We're just here to help you execute the plan, but this is totally on you. But I will say, when you hear successful stories, and when you hear people that are still doing what they are doing, and not just completing those tasks just because they had somebody over them.
They continue on.
That's sustainable.
Success. Yes.
Continued sustainable success. It makes you feel really good.
Awesome.
So,
well, thank you, Gabe, for being here today.
No problem.
The thing that stands in my mind is people don't care how much you know. They just want to know that you care.
Absolutely.
And it sounds like YAP is doing that. So I appreciate you for being here today.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you all for watching. Our kids, our families, our communities, and have a great day.